Okay. I'll just yeah. So anyway, this is I want to talk about how I got into this and how we've been managed to keep going in tough times and boom years. So I have kind of a unique sort of a super well suited resume for Greywater, which is like when I was my first, like I've worked in construction in my early life. My first job was doing drywall. I've worked in residential construction, set building in Hollywood, furniture making. But at some point, I went back to architecture school, or I went to architecture school, got a master's degree, and worked as an architect for about 12 years at both Frank Gehry's office, who's kind of a hot shot here in LA, and my own private practice. Around 2008, I started, three things happened. Basically, I had a son who was 3 years old at the time, and I had bought a house and work in the housing crisis just started to dry up. So I had some time to reflect and think about things. My son and I planted a whole shit ton of fruit trees in the front yard, and we would go out and water them, generally using, maybe 50 gallons of water. We'd get all muddy. I would go back to the house, give them a bath, and then I would watch 50 gallons of water swirl down the drain, never to be seen again. So I started to bug about that because basically the reason I got into Greywater is because I am a cheapskate, and it just drove me crazy watching perfectly good water uh, go down the drain, never to be seen again after just using that same water. So around that time, I started playing with simple Greywater systems at my house, sort of ridiculous things like siphons, and I didn't know what I was doing. I looked on YouTube and stuff. There was not much out there, and not much out there that was um, good advice either. A lot of gray water settling tanks and things like that. So I printed up a bunch of postcards just to see what would happen, put them in coffee shops and garden centers and nurseries around town, and got a few calls and started to actually get a few jobs. Um, so in 2009, I took Laura Allen's workshop through Greywater Action. They did a 5-day installers class here in Los Angeles, and actually learned a little bit more about what I was doing. So this is the sort of early years. Man, I was so young and innocent then. Uh, and then we started doing simple systems, basically, keeping it simple. But around that time, there's slightly bigger system that was an underground tank. That's my son Nico. We were running the whole operation out of my house, which as time went by started to drive all my neighbors crazy because we had a lot of trucks and pipes and everything was a little chaotic. Um, but eventually, what happened was the drought years happened around 2014 and 16. So we went from being pretty much struggling for jobs to being kind of overwhelmed. There was a lot of media attention in those days. We were just getting the phone kind of ringing off the hook. I had to hire someone just to answer the phone, basically. So, um, and then we installed, like that year, we installed around 2015, I think we installed like 102 systems. So it's been kind of booms and busts. Right now, it's a little, at that point, I think at the highest, I had 18 or 19 employees, mostly installers, but I had an office manager and a maintenance coordinator and a few other people. This was still in our front yard, my front yard, so we were running the whole thing out of my house again. Eventually, we have moved into an office, which I took great pictures of this morning, but haven't uploaded to my computer yet, so you don't get to see them. But we've basically been struggling. It's always a struggle, even when times are hard, times are good. It's just it's stressful. There's a lot of problems to deal with. It's basically hard to make a living doing this, but I've just been really kind of blessed by being in the right place at the right time and getting lucky. I mean, LA doesn't really have any other installers who are licensed professionals. So it's been pretty good. We've done a bunch of celebrity houses. And, oh, sorry. Um, but we started, so we've been basically doing whatever we can to keep income running. So there's been rainwater systems, and just recently we started doing rooftop sprinklers. Um, we've been doing a lot of low impact development, which is LID. It's basically a program that the city of LA uses to protect the watershed and urban runoff. So this is a lid planter with a, we've done sewage ejector pumps. We have done a bunch of celebrity homes over the years. Here's Bill Nye. Um, Underground rainwater systems. This is a 10,000 gallon Xerxes rainwater tank going in place. And this is 3,000 gallons in someone's basement, basically. That's actually uh, being used for a rainwater, for a firefighting system. Um, and we've been doing tank sales. So we basically throw everything at the wall and see what sticks. And hopefully, if you diversify enough, and we've also done some garden design, some French drains, you name it, we'll take it. Um, but it does keep things interesting, but it's a lot to deal with. So this is our tank catalog. We're working with Den Hartog out of Iowa. Um, in terms of the systems we install, we like to keep it simple. I mean, we've installed pretty much every proprietary system on the market. This is the Nexus e-water. That company went out of business halfway through installation. Flow tender, Aqua 2 use, G-Flow, you name it, we've probably installed it, and we've often had to deinstall it because it may have failed. We've just had a lot of heartbreak with high-tech or proprietary systems. So basically, we stick to the classics, which are boundary landscapes, branch drains, and pumped systems, which you are all hopefully familiar with. So I'm not going to get too much into the technicalities of those. Um, so these are pumps to mulch basins on this particular drawing. Um, in terms of running the business, there's a few things I think that are very important for me, and that sort of I think have helped us, avoid lawsuits and keep in business. So one is we are licensed. I'm a C36 plumber and a B general contractor. I'm also a licensed architect, which really helps because I can stamp drawings. And I think this is less important in the rural areas, but in LA, they really dot their I's and cross their T's. And so we're having to do health inspections, submittals, and drawings and cross-connection tests and uh, grading pre-inspections and plan checks and mechanical inspections and all that stuff. So, but one thing that's very important is having clear, uh, a very clear contractor proposal that really lays out exactly what the scope of work is and what's excluded and what the costs are. Um, Another thing that's important is every job we do, we will do a design sketch so the client knows exactly what they're going to be getting. We send out PDFs with descriptions of the systems. Most people do not know exactly what a gray water system is or looks like or does. So we try to just be really to make sure people's expectations are aligned with what's going to happen. This is a preliminary sketch from a project that we ended up getting. I have a lot of standards in that I hold the crew to. So this is a drawing that I did that just and it's just internal. This is for my crew, so we know exactly what the Greywater Corps standards are for installing systems. This is a pump, like with a Zoller jackal basin and all that stuff, clearances, etc. Um, and when we're done with jobs, we hold on. The other thing we do is in terms of sort of crew standards is just making sure that clients know exactly when we're showing up, what to expect when we're going to leave, what we're going to bring. And we always wear booties in the house and things like that. just trying to maintain a really professional operation. Um, and then when we're done with the job, we do a debriefing where we'll take the client through the system, answer any questions, show them how it works, and provide them with a owner's manual and an as-built diagram. And it doesn't have to be crazy elaborate, but it just so they know what the system they got is and how it works and where the components are. Over the years, we have come up with a number of innovations to the low-tech systems. A lot of them just have to do with how we figure things out. We're looking at this is me testing but like even one of these laser thermometers, one of the ways you'll find it's often if you're in someone's crawl space, you're trying to find which are the gray water pipes. You can run hot water down showers and find out where which pipes heat up. We started with just a laser thermometer, and then we started using an infrared camera so you can, run hot water in the showers and find out exactly, oh, here's a shower with hot water going down here, and then it, drains off there. Um, Super useful for analyzing what's going on. We got a laser cutter for doing, let's see if this does anything. Yeah, so we're making valve tags. Um, we have been using a 3D printer to actually make certain gray water parts. It has not worked as well as I had hoped, but it was a lot of fun. So this is a two-way eccentric um, flow splitter with an integrated clean out. It's eccentric, so there's no lip. It reduces from 2 inches to 1.5 inches, and the bottom of it is all on the same plane. So it steps down at top, water just flows without any debris collecting. Um, and let's see if this one, we upgraded from the laser thermometer to this thing, which is an electromagnetic pipe locating tool. So someone has threaded someone has threaded a sensor, it's called the sonde, down the pipe from the bathtub, and we have managed to locate it in this wall, so we know exactly where to cut to find that pipe. And so that's it. I didn't quite finish this presentation, but hopefully there'll be a chance to explain more about how we operate and um, how to run a graywater business, basically. So,
Great, thanks, Leigh.
yeah, you're welcome.